Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for your quick briefing on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today on the show, we're taking a look at the frustrating and all too common experience of job seekers being ghosted by employers, from the silence after hitting apply to the vanishing act after an interview. We'll dig into why it happens and the new Ontario, Canada law that will make ghosting illegal and what employers can do right now to fix it. Imagine spending hours tailoring your resume, hitting submit, maybe even preparing for a thoughtful interview, only to tumble into a black hole of silence. If you've ever been ghosted by an employer, you're not alone. And it's not just sad, it's also very avoidable. Let's talk about why this happens. In many organizations, the applicant tracking systems are set up to manage a flood of candidates, but hiring teams often neglect to hit that acknowledge, status update, or decision button, and applications end up buried in dashboards, forgotten in email drafts, or delayed by overloaded recruiters. Meanwhile, the ATS is only as good as how we use it. Every modern ATS, from Greenhouse to Lever to Workday, has built-in triggers to send automated acknowledgments when applications arrive, to flag interview schedules, to update candidates with rejections or next round invites, and to notify them when final decisions are made, all with pretty much zero extra effort once configured. And these tools aren't new. ATSs have had this capability for decades, even longer maybe, yet too many employers don't fully embrace them, leaving candidates frustrated, demoralized, and less inclined to recommend the company. At least one area or municipality is taking steps to change this. In a game changer, Ontario, Canada has just passed a new law which will come into force on January 1st, 2026, under the province's pay transparency legislation, which will require employers to notify candidates that they've interviewed within 45 days about the status of their application, whether or not a hiring decision has been made. And employers who don't comply could receive warnings, or if infractions add up, face financial penalties enforced by the province's Ministry of Labor. Sir, now this applies only to formal, publicly advertised positions and not every resume submission, but it's a clear signal. Ghosting is no longer optional, it can be a legal risk, and I would not be surprised if more locations, specifically U.S. states, take steps to enact similar legislation. So what can employers actually do right now to stay out of hot water and, more importantly, treat candidates like people? First, set clear expectations. At the end of any online application, and particularly after virtual or personal interviews, tell candidates when they can expect communication. Say, "You'll hear from us by such and such a date," and stick to it. Next, leverage your ATS's tools. Configure automatic acknowledgments, interview-specific status updates, and rejection or offer notifications. And use simple workflow rules. The interview is completed, trigger a decision or a next step email. If there's a longer hiring cycle, set calendar reminders or automated nudges at 30 or 40-day intervals. Remember, the new law in Ontario gives employers 45 days, but you don't have to wait until that deadline. And train everyone involved, recruiters, hiring managers, HR, to understand that communication is not a nice to have. It's a professional expectation, and soon in Canada anyway, a legal one. Even a brief template note is better than radio silence. And employers, let's just be blunt. Ghosting is avoidable, it's outdated, and soon illegal, at least in Ontario. You've had the tools in your ATS to close the loop for more than a decade. And starting January 1st, 2026, silence will not only hurt your reputation, it could hurt your compliance. So do better. Respect candidates, preserve your employer brand, build trust, and just update candidates. That's it for today. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. If this episode made you think about how your organization treats job candidates, please share it with a colleague. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3 HR Advisors.